Imagine for a moment that the successor to a globally revered spiritual figure, someone like the Pope, wasn't chosen by their own sacred tradition, but instead became a strategic chess piece on the board of international politics dictated by a foreign government.
Hmm.
It sounds like a plot from a gripping thriller, doesn't it? Well, that's not fiction today. That's the intense, high-stakes reality we're diving into concerning the succession of the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
This isn't merely a spiritual matter, it's a profound geopolitical flashpoint, one that's intensifying rapidly as we approach, well, right now, July 2025.
Exactly. And our mission today is just truly unpack this complex situation, dissecting the intricate positions of key global players like India, China, and crucially, the Tibetan community in exile.
Right.
We need to understand the deep historical currents that have brought us to this critical juncture and grasp what is fundamentally at stake, not just for the future of Tibetan Buddhism, but, for regional power dynamics across Asia and even broader international principles.
So let's begin by grounding ourselves in the extraordinary individual at the heart of this unfolding story. We all kind of know the Dalai Lama as a global icon of peace and nonviolence.
Mm-hmm.
He is the 14th in an unbroken spiritual lineage, holding the dual role of both spiritual and temporal leader for Tibetans. His very title, Ocean of Wisdom, reflects the profound reverence he commands. It's a title that originated way back in 1578, I believe, bestowed by a Mongolian ruler, Ultan Khan, cementing this tradition of immense spiritual and political authority.
What's truly fascinating here, and really central to this whole issue, is how deeply embedded the concept of reincarnation is within Tibetan Buddhist tradition. This isn't just a belief, it's the very mechanism of their leadership.
Mechanism itself.
Yeah, it was a fifth Dalai Lama, way back in the 17th century, who truly unified Tibet, forging a sovereign state by bringing together both spiritual and political authority. This established a tradition where each Dalai Lama is seen as the direct reincarnation of the previous one, ensuring a continuity of wisdom and governance that has now endured for centuries. And it is this very ancient, sacred process that is now being fundamentally challenged by modern political forces seeking to assert control.
And this ancient, deeply spiritual tradition found itself on a collision course with a stark political reality in 1950, right, when China invaded Tibet.
Exactly.
The young 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, initially tried to navigate this fraught new landscape, even being installed under Chinese oversight for a time. But tensions escalated rapidly, culminating in a failed Tibetan uprising in 1959.
Yes, a pivotal moment.
That's when he was forced to flee, embarking on that arduous journey across the Himalayas to seek refuge in India, eventually settling in Dharamshala. From there, he established the Tibetan government in exile, transforming himself from a national leader into a tireless global advocate for nonviolence and human rights.
A huge transformation.
A commitment that rightly earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989, cementing his status as a beloved, globally recognized figure.
And this profound historical backdrop makes his current age of 90 incredibly, almost poignantly significant. His eventual succession is far more than just a religious transition for the Tibetan people or the continuity of an ancient lineage.
Right.
It carries immense geopolitical weight, capable of profoundly impacting international relations, human rights discourse, and the delicate balance of power across the entire Asian continent. It's huge.
So, with that essential context established, let's turn our attention to the present. What does this all mean for the succession process as it stands today? We currently observe three distinct, often conflicting viewpoints vying for influence, each attempting to shape the future of this lineage, creating a truly complex web of claims and counterclaims.
Okay, first let's look at India. Their position has been remarkably firm and consistently clear. Just recently, on July 3, 2025, India's Minority Affairs Minister, Kiren Rijiju, made an unequivocal statement.
Yeah, I saw that.
The next Dalai Lama's incarnation will be decided solely by the established institution and the Dalai Lama himself, asserting that no one else has the authority to intervene. Period.
Pretty direct.
Very. And this isn't a new posture for India. They have provided refuge and unwavering support to the Dalai Lama and thousands of Tibetans since 1959. Now, this stance isn't purely altruistic, you could say. It's a strategic balance, allowing India to project its own regional influence and humanitarian values while managing its often strained relationship with China. It positions India as a steadfast guardian of religious freedom and cultural autonomy in the region.
It's almost as if India is subtly but strongly communicating, while we acknowledge your sovereignty, China, When it comes to spiritual matters of such profound global importance, tradition and religious autonomy must prevail.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a masterful diplomatic maneuver, really, emphasizing respect for ancient traditions over political expediency.
This leads us to a crucial question, though. How does the Dalai Lama himself, the central figure in all this, view his own succession?
Right. What does he say?
Well, he has consistently and unequivocally affirmed that his institution, the very embodiment of Tibetan Buddhism, will absolutely continue after his passing. And critically, he has precisely specified that only the Gaden Phodrang Trust.
The Gaden Phodrang Trust.
Yes, his private office, established way back in 1953, will hold the sole and ultimate authority to recognize his future reincarnation. He is insisting upon strict adherence to centuries-old traditional Tibetan Buddhist practices.
Which involve?
Well, they involve a meticulously defined process of rituals, extensive consultations with high lamas, and sometimes divinations, meaning seeking guidance and signs through sacred oracles and prophecies. This trust manages everything, really, all his temporal and spiritual affairs, from his extensive global travels and teachings to charitable activities. It's the custodian.
So, in essence, he's delivering a very clear, sovereign message to Beijing. Thank you for your interest, but we have this deeply sacred internal process covered strictly according to our own time-honored traditions.
Pretty much, yes.
It's a powerful and unwavering assertion of religious and cultural independence in the face of immense external pressure.
But China, on the other hand, presents an entirely different, indeed opposing, perspective. They are adamantly insisting that any future Dalai Lama must receive their explicit approval.
On what grounds?
Their claim is predicated on the assertion that Tibet has been an integral part of China since the 13th century, a historical narrative that many independent historians widely dispute.
Right. They often point instead to the 1950 invasion as the true and forceful beginning of their direct control.
Exactly. This aggressive stance is part of China's much broader, deeply rooted effort to control all Tibetan religious institutions and figures, seeing them as potential threats to their authority and stability in the region.
And this isn't just a theoretical debate, is it? We have a chilling precedent that shows exactly how China handles this kind of situation, with very real, tangible, and frankly, heartbreaking consequences.
Absolutely. To truly grasp the gravity of this situation, we need to remember the Panchen Lama dispute in 1995. The Panchen Lama is traditionally the second most important spiritual leader in Tibetan Buddhism.
Often involved in recognizing the Dalai Lama, right?
Precisely. So when the Dalai Lama recognized 6-year-old Gedit Nyima as the 11th Panchen Lama, China immediately rejected his choice. Instead, they installed their own hand-picked candidate, Geltsen Norbu, in his place.
And the boy the Dalai Lama chose.
What's truly unsettling is that Gedun Nyima has been missing ever since, presumed to be held under house arrest by the Chinese authorities. Vanished.
Still missing.
Yes. This incident serves as a stark, chilling reminder of China's willingness to manipulate religious institutions, to forcibly abduct a child, and to use overt force to assert its control over Tibetan spiritual life.
Wow.
It's a clear demonstration of their intent to dictate who can lead, even if it means severing ancient spiritual lineages and violating fundamental human rights.
Amidst these simmering tensions and intricate diplomatic dances, there's a profoundly significant event right around the corner. The Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, scheduled for July 6th, 2025. This isn't just a milestone birthday. It is charged with immense symbolic and diplomatic weight.
And this will be far more than a mere birthday celebration. We've learned that 2 high-level Indian Union ministers, Kiran Rijiju again and Rajiv Ranjan Singh, will be officially representing the government of India at these celebrations in Dharamshala.
That's a big deal.
It is. This isn't just a polite gesture. It's a very clear, deliberate, and high-profile diplomatic statement. By dispatching such senior representatives, India is openly showcasing its unwavering support for the Dalai Lama and, by extension, for the Tibetan cause.
Definitely intended to ruffle some feathers in Beijing, as they say.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
It sends a strong signal and reinforces India's already robust ties with the Tibetan community in exile. It's a calculated assertion of their regional influence and commitment to humanitarian principles.
Dharamshala, the tranquil headquarters of the Tibetan government in exile, truly transforms into an incredible symbolic stage for international diplomacy on days like this. It becomes a focal point where global attention converges.
Absolutely.
Not just on a spiritual leader's birthday, but on the profound fate of an entire culture and a people yearning for self-determination.
What's particularly compelling here is the nuanced perspective from Tibetans living outside Tibet. While they hold a profound, unwavering trust in their ancient tradition, genuinely believing the institution has endured for centuries and will certainly continue.
There's an if or a but there.
Well, there's also a palpable anxiety that runs through the community. They openly discuss and deeply wonder if the next Dalai Lama will truly possess the same unique charisma, the same global influence, and the same intellectual gravitas as Tenzin Gyatso.
That's understandable.
His profound teachings on compassion and nonviolence, coupled with his tireless advocacy for peace, have touched millions worldwide. This isn't a lack of faith, you see, but a very human concern about filling such immensely significant shoes.
Huge shoes to fill.
Knowing that this particular season of leadership has been truly extraordinary in its global impact, there's also an ongoing internal discussion within the Tibetan government in exile about ensuring the resilience of their cultural and political movement, irrespective of the next Dalai Lama's specific characteristics.
So they're thinking beyond just the next leader.
Yes, they are actively working to preserve their language, history, and unique identity through educational and cultural initiatives, demonstrating their agency in shaping their own future. It's about resilience.
So as we look ahead, what does all this truly mean for the future? This isn't simply about religious succession. This intricate dance is deeply entwined with the very concepts of power, sovereignty, and the enduring survival of an entire culture and a people's distinct identity.
Well, if China were to succeed in effectively controlling the selection and recognition of the next Dalai Lama, it could profoundly legitimize this controversial rule over Tibet in the eyes of the world.
A major symbolic win for them.
Huge. And simultaneously weaken the Tibetan resistance movement and their long-standing struggle for genuine autonomy. Conversely, if the Tibetan institution can independently select its next leader, adhering to their traditional practices, it would provide an immense boost to morale, reaffirming their cultural resilience, and crucially, keep international attention firmly focused on their ongoing struggle.
So the choice itself is vital.
Absolutely vital for their identity, their sense of self-determination, and their continued advocacy on the global stage. It's really a fight for the soul of a people.
And India's ongoing steadfast support acts as a powerful counterweight to China's expanding influence in the region. By firmly backing the traditional succession process, India is not just defending a spiritual right, it's asserting its own regional role and sending a very clear, unequivocal message to Beijing. We will not be coerced or bullied, especially when it comes to fundamental spiritual freedom and cultural autonomy in our shared neighborhood. This also aligns with India's broader strategic interests, presumably, in maintaining stability along its Himalayan borders.
It does. And this all underscores the absolutely crucial and increasingly prominent role of the Gaden Phodrang Trust, which the current Dalai Lama has so deliberately empowered. It truly functions as the vital keeper of this ancient tradition.
The stewards, you call them?
Exactly. Striving to ensure both continuity and autonomy against immense, unrelenting political pressure. Their work extends far beyond merely managing his daily affairs. It encompasses organizing his global travels, meticulously disseminating his profound teachings, and overseeing various charitable activities, all interwoven with the sacred and weighty duty of identifying and meticulously recognizing the next incarnation through those centuries-old methods. They are navigating a modern, often hostile geopolitical landscape.
So as we reflect on this intricate tapestry of faith, politics, and identity, what we've truly explored today is a profound and delicate balancing act. Centuries of spiritual tradition, rooted in ancient beliefs and practices, stand in direct opposition to the stark realities of modern geopolitics and the intricate, often forceful demands of international diplomacy on the global stage.
This brings us to a compelling final thought, perhaps. As we consider this truly intricate situation, particularly with the Dalai Lama turning 90 and the world watching intently, what does it truly mean for the very nature of spiritual leadership in a world increasingly shaped by national interests, by technological surveillance, and by aggressive geopolitical ambitions? How will the quiet, enduring power of centuries-old tradition, reliant on faith and lineage, contends with the loud, often forceful, and undeniably pragmatic demands of modern nation-states? It's a question that resonates far beyond the Himalayas, I think.
A truly profound question to mull over as this compelling story continues to unfold, affecting millions and shaping the future of a rich cultural heritage. A lot to keep watching.